Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, Vandy, we're back at another Card Fight Vanguard deck profile. If you guys enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started, shall we? This time, we have Dark Irregulars, Amon, Yaeverse, Dato. Yes, we have Amon reverse now. Very interesting art, I like its skill. I think it's really good. Weirdly enough, it doesn't require the old Amon, which I actually like the aspect of. The reverse not relying on the old Amon to actually get its skills off. It does still technically rely on just Amon cards in general to get its skills off, but it's still good, because, you know, it still gets support from the entirety of the deck, but it doesn't require the old grade 3 to be good. So, yeah, let's go and get this deck profile start, shall we? And we'll see where we get at it. I want to let this be clear. I have a really weird lineup. Not so sure about it. I just kind of put this together in the middle of the morning, so hopefully it's good. Anyways, we have our starter in Rare Fleet or Ortnaz, grade 0, boost, 10k shield, 6k base, items wrote upon, draw a card, then if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 1 or greater, put a quick shield ticket to your hand. So, standard starter, nothing special about it. You get a draw, you get a quick shield ticket to your hand if you basically went second, unless your opponent's grade locked. So, nice card, I like it. I choose this as my starter every time for Dark Irregulars because I really like it. My friend calls it Man-Bat. I know why he calls it Man-Bat. Let's just say I would slap my friend if I had the chance. Now on to our trigger lineup. This is, you see, I said last time you can go 12 crit Amon. I don't think I'm wrong, and to be frank with you, I'm kind of tempted to go 12 crit here, but like, I'm also tempted to not because Amon gets enough critical on his own, so 50-50. Anyways, March Rabbit of Nightmareland, grade 0 boost, 0 shield, 5k base, draw trigger to sound of 4 summons in your deck, and auto guard. When it's placed on guard circle, discard a card. One of your units cannot be hit in the battle. Standard PG, nothing special about it. It's just a draw PG. Like I said, you can run this, you can run the crit sound over this, get 12 crits, force the fuck out of your opponent. I know how 12 crit Amon feels. My friend ran 12 crit Amon against me. All I'm gonna say is this, even though he did only beat me twice out of the 5-6 times we played that deck, there were a lot of close calls. A lot of close calls to where, if he saw a crit, would have died. Just saying that, putting that out there, so, you know, 12 crit might be the way to go. I want that draw PG though, so 4 of. And we of course have 8 crit in Rare Lux Greffitor and Blitzritter. I once more say 12 crit because also this deck does deck out faster than the other one, so, I mean the previous Amon deck, so yeah, you might want to recommend that 12 crit, but that's just what I'm saying. And then, yeah, we have our other crits. And then we have 4 heal in Alice of Nightmareland. Grade 0 boost, 20k shield, 5k base. We all know why I don't like heal guardians, right? Like, I don't have to say it again. If I have to say it again, all I'm going to say is that they're detrimental to my playstyle. If you want a more accurate description of that, go on to a video from last clan collection explaining it so I don't have to spend 5 minutes explaining myself. I believe the one that has the most explanation is my Great Nature Locks deck profile. I remember that was the one I started it in, so, you know, go watch that one, you'll get a more or less explanation to it. But, yeah, I run normal heals. You can run heal guardians, there's not a problem with them. I just prefer not to run them. Then we move on to our grade 1s, the start of the wacky lineup. 3 copies of Doreen the Thruster, grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 6k base, auto Vandereer. When a card is put into your soul by your card's ability, gets +5 for the turn, +10 if it's soul charge 2. I don't know why they specify soul charge. It doesn't count soul charge. I mean, it does, but, like, it also counts moving into soul by abilities, such as Amon, who puts 1 card from hand, rear, and drop into soul. So if you use just Amon with this thing, she's already a 21k booster. And that's threatening. I cannot tell you how many times this thing was the bane of my existence when my friend was playing Amon. And when I was playing Amon against my friend, the numbers that this thing hit was BS, because Amon alone could make this thing hit a 21. 3 of Doreen the Thruster. I don't need to explain why she's here. If I need to explain why she's here, then go watch any Dark Regular deck profile and/or tournament matchup for earlier Dark Regulars in V. I'm not saying I got the reason to use her from a tournament. I just have her, and I know she was good in tournaments. Then we have 4 copies of Variant's Killertail, the card I was definitely thinking about cutting. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 6k base, act rear, once per turn, rest this unit, put a card from your damage zone or drop zone to your soul. If you put a card from your damage zone, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down, and if your soul has 3 or more Killertails, counter charge 1, stand it. Okay, so, you know, either possible free counter charge, and she could technically deck you out because she does force you to take a damage if you take from the damage zone, but, you know, if you don't take from damage zone, you just put from drop, cool, counter charge. Or you can't just take from damage zone, and then, well, then again, if you go face down regardless. So, you know, Feather into Killertail, really nice. Get you basically a free soul if it's from drop, and kind of as a free soul from damage, and pumps up Doreen by another 5, so that's always appreciated. The reason why I wanted to cut her is because there are occasions where I don't see the 4th one for some reason. Like, I'll get 3 of them into soul and or on board, and then the last one eludes me because it stays at the damn bottom and I can't fish it out from there. So, I mean, unless I'm playing premium, then I can fish it out, technically. But, yeah, Killertail. Wanted to cut her, didn't. I'm keeping her at 4, but if she continues to not be useful, I think I might just run the deck without a counter charge, because that's the main reason she's still here. So 4 of Killertail. Oh, that's all I'm saying. You know, people want to call me wrong on that, call me wrong, but that's my opinion. Then we have our new grade 1, who I question why I put him after freaking Fu Gremlin, but we have Amon's follower, Atrocious Blow. So, this is the best grade 1 in this deck. By hands down, like, no competition. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base, beautiful ass art. All just placed on Van, look at top 7, choose up to 1 grade 3 card with the mon's card name, reveal, put it to hand, and shuffle your deck. Okay, that's BS in both premium and V. Like, first up, yeah, it's grade 3 specific, but you can get reverse in V. You can get new Amon in V, not the reverse one, the other one, the Demon World Marquis. Or you can get that stupid Amon grade 3 that stride skill says when you stride a unit, soul charge the same amount of cards in your soul. So if you had 15, you soul charge another 15. You want to know why I'm bringing this up specifically? Because I know my friend who is a fan of that card for whatever reason is going to run this in his deck. Why I'm giving him ideas if he hasn't already thought of it is beyond me, but I hope he doesn't watch this video. Then he has Act Rear Guard, rest this unit, Soul Charge 1, choose one of units with a mon in its card name, and until end of turn it gets plus 1k for each card in its soul, for your soul. So that's pretty good. That's the skill, I believe, of the original Amon starter in Premium, or like it was rest, give its skill to 2 units, and still Soul Charge 1. But I really like that skill, because he gives Amon's old skill back to him, which is where he gets plus 1k for each card in soul. So, get you a soul, costs no counter blast or soul blast, gets power, and it can give it to literally any Amon unit. And it is not once per turn, so if we find a way to stand him, you can just keep doing it. And it's not a named once per turn, so once more, if you got 3 of them, just do it. Because probably 3 of them in the back row could give more power to your front row than any one of them combined. So, yeah, 4 Atrocious Blow. Amazing grade 1. Like, there are a lot of debatable statements about this deck, but I think we can all agree this is a 4 of, no matter what anyone says, so 4 of. Then we have 4 copies of Fu Gremlin. I like him solely because of the tiger in the background. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base. He's our last grade 1. Active Vanguard or Rear Guard once per turn. Put a hand card to soul, draw a card. Your opponent chooses a card from their hand, puts it to soul, and your opponent may draw a card. So, a lot of good things to him. He has a Vanguard skill, so worst case scenario, if you cannot draw your main grade 1 here in Atrocious Blow, you still got Fu Gremlin. You're not in the worst case scenario because both of them are good grade 1 right targets. Because, you know, this one can get you soul and get you a draw, and your opponent has to lose a hand card. They have to. It's mandatory. The difference is they are allowed to draw a card. They do not have to if they do not feel like it, but then they're minusing a hand card. So, Fu Gremlin, really good on that aspect already, and granted he may be once per turn, but caught 3 of them. Really simple, and it's Vanguard or Rear Guard, so that's really nice. And Auto Rear at the start of your battle phase, which my friend constantly forgets to use. If your opponent has a 6 more soul, you may soul charge 1. If you soul charge, choose one of your units, it gets plus 5 for the turn. So, you know, you don't have to soul charge if you don't like it, which means you can choose not to use the ability, but if you choose to use the ability and soul charge 1, someone gets plus 5. That's really nice. He can give it to himself, he can give it to the Vanguard, he can give it to anyone else. All around, he's an amazing grade 1, nice on rear, has a decent skill on Van too, and all around is amazing, 4 of. I think, by the way, one more thing before I go into grade 2s. Rarely I see decks that have really good grade 1 lineups to the point where no matter what grade 1 you ride, you can kind of get a good feel out of it. While yes, this is not that deck, this is one of the few decks I've seen that has had 2 solid grade 1 rides, and either of them are really good. So that's all I'm saying. I just want to say that Amon has like won a token in my heart for being one of the few decks I know that can do really good in this deck. Anyways, next up we move on to grade 2s. 2 copies of Emblem Master. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k, 9k base. Continues rear guard or guard circle. If you has 7 or more soul, you get plus 5k power and 5k shield. So 10k shield, 14k base, on a protect 2, that's 19k base, and a 20k shield, so that's really nice. And auto van rear, when placed, counterboss 1, search your deck or drop for up to 3 total cards with the same card name as the units on, was one of your units, not all of them, just one of your units on your board and stuff to soul. If you search your deck, shuffle them. So, anyway, so that's really nice. That's, he can pick the Vanguard, he can pick himself, he can pick any of your other rear guards. As long as there's a unit on your board, you can search your deck and drop, which means you don't entirely have to lose out of your deck, especially if one copy ended up in damage zone and you healed it out, it can just go into soul anyways. That's really nice. Emblem Master is an amazing grade 2. Normally I run him at 4, but like I said, wacky lineup time, so I kind of had to put him at 2. But either way, Emblem Master is really nice, so 2 of. Then we have 4 copies of Amon's follower, Soul Sucker. Interesting name and a lot of dick jokes waiting to happen. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. Saw it once wrote upon by a unit of Amon's card name, Soul Charge 3. Saw around, that's both okay and good. You know, free Soul Charge 3, that's amazing. You get extra soul, gets Amon skills off. Downside is, this card involves you mandatorily soul charging 3, so that might deck you out. That might be the reason you lose in the end game, because your opponent lasted 1 turn too long and those 3 cards end up fucking you over. But at the same time, with what I saw earlier about someone saying Amon being scary, which I have no idea the truth of that, yeah, I'd argue that wouldn't matter if Amon is actually scary. And then auto rear, when it attacks, counterboss 1, soul charge 1, and this unit gets plus 5 for the battle. At the end of the battle, if your Vanguard has Amon's card name, if you have 6 or more soul, shoot up to soul and draw a card. So that's really nice. It can attack on anything, get that plus 5. It is a mandatory soul charge, but you know, at the end of it, if you have a Amon Vanguard, which you do not have to pay the cost and get the 5k, but if you do have an Amon Vanguard and you have 6 or more soul, kills the soul, draw a card. All around, amazing grade 2, really nice. We have a good grade 2 ride target now. Not saying Ron Geenlin wasn't a good grade 2 ride target, but he was not a ride target, so 4 of Soul Sucker for actually being a ride target and having a decent skill on rear too. So amazing. And then we have 4 copies of our last grade 2, and I'd argue our main grade 2 on rear, Amon's follower Ron Geenlin. I like him for the dragon, not because of the guy. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 9k base, autos placed on van or rear, soul charge 1. Your opponent chooses up to 1 card from their hand or rear, and if they shove to soul. If they do not, you soul charge 1. I never do that ability. The second half, because the mandatory soul charge, that's nice. I'm not giving my opponent, well, yes, I could just not let them soul charge, especially when they're playing Dark Irregulars, especially when that doesn't involve Amon, so there's a chance that they're not running Amon. I'm not taking that chance, because I don't want to lose a hand card or a rear guard that I'm not getting back. You see, Fu here, he refunds me. This doesn't. I'm not using Ron unless I actually need the soul, so yeah. And then continues rear guard circle. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in soul, this unit goes plus 10k power and 10k shield for the turn, active on both players' turns. So 19k base, 15k shield during both players' turns. If you're on a protect 2, 24k base and 25k shield. All around, that's an amazing grade 2. Hits numbers for really relatively easy cost. Get you free soul on just by being placed on van or rear. All around, an amazing grade 2. I like it. I think it's cool. 4 of. And now we move on to our grade 3s. I put this one here because while yes, I rank them in order of importance, I do still think the old Amon is better, or at least in my opinion it's better, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, our first grade 3 is Demon World Marquis, Amon Riva. I really wish he had like another part of his name, like you know how, what's it called, Himiko, she had Demise Queen, Magatsu. Did Magatsu have a different part of his name? I think he did, right? Am I wrong? Who was the other card that had a different part of his name? Bowing Sword had one. So like, I really was hoping that Amon would get a different name, but it's fine. So I knew they were gonna clone the old one anyways, but still. So really like the art though, it gives him like the good old god stance. Weird thing is he looks like a decrepit tree. That's what his old art reminded me of, and this one still kind of reminds me of it, but like now it's kind of like a dead deer that could grow 3 more sets of hands, so I don't fucking know, but that's what it reminds me of. Anyways, grade 3 200 protect gift, 12k base, act Vanguard once per turn, lock 2 of your rear guards, and until end of turn, this unit gets plus 2k for each card in your soul. And if this unit has 40k or greater power, it goes plus 1 crit. So this thing turned into Dimension Police, except I think that's extremely easy to do, because here's how. This is Dark Irregulars. You are going to soul charge so quickly in this deck. To hit 40k, you need 14 soul. Here's how often I see Dark Irregulars hit 14 soul, or at least this deck, or at least the old version of the deck hit 14 soul. First grade 3 turn. First grade 3 turn. Or second grade 3 turn, they hit 14 soul. That's not going to be that hard in this deck. First or second grade 3 turn, they can hit 14 soul. Best part about this is that ability does not require the opponent to be at grade 3. Doesn't require anything specific of you besides having locking 2 rear guards. So it could possibly be a 40k and have an extra crit on it. So already that's dangerous. If they just slapped on a discard 1 while your opponent's vanguards are grade 3 or greater and you get a protect gift, and then that would be its only skill, yeah, that would be good. That would be amazing. That would be the, like, not perfect, but it would be an amazing skill that Amon would have, and I'd be okay with it. But then they gave it a second ability, which was different, but still good. Act Vanguard once per turn. Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 cards of the Amon in their card name from your soul, call into rearguard circle. At the end of the turn, put those called units to soul. So note, the units you call, they will go, they will be unlocked and then not go to soul, because that is how Amon Reverse works, or how it was explained to me. If I am wrong, then whoever told me otherwise is wrong, but whatever. So that's still good because he can give you targets, because the hard part about, I guess, guarding in this game, or like playing in Vanguard, is that there are occasions where you won't be able to do your plays because you would have guarded too much and all of your rear guards would have been killed, to the point where now your plays that require a certain amount of rear guards get shut down. So this one, even if you have 0 hand cards at the start of your turn, with that draw, it would only bring you to 1, as long as you have two Amons in soul, regardless of what they are. It can be Amon follower cards. Counterblast 1, call them out, lock targets. Granted, they won't go back into soul, but amazing. And not to mention the fact that, yeah, it is a minus of 2 soul, but multi-attack, and this is not an on-place from hand. So, yeah, Demon World Marquis Amon Reverse is actually an amazing card. Get you rear guards. It has a Pale Moon effect, really. Get you good numbers on his own and critical. Definitely still not as scary as the old Amon, but I think it's an amazing grade 3. I like its art. I think it's good. 4 of. Especially it's an alternative grade 3 to Amon. I think that's the purpose of it, not to be an evolution or a better version, just a alternate card you can ride upon to make the game go differently, because yeah, that's how it is. And then we have Demon World Marquis Amon. Weirdly enough, the OG is better than this one, because this one does board interruption to some extent, and gets more drives, and in theory can get more power and critical a lot faster, so take that as you will. Anyways, grade 3 200 protect gift, 12k base. Active Vanguard once per turn, put 1 rear guard, 1 hand card, and 1 card from your drop zone to soul. For some reason that costs no counterblast or soul blast or discard whatsoever. I mean, technically it costs a discard in the sense that you're subbing a hand card to soul, but whatever. Your opponent chooses 2 cards each from those zones, so they pick 2 cards in their rear, hand, and drop, shove to soul. If they did not put 6 cards, this thing gets a drive. So the thing is, you're not allowed to just say, I pick 1 card from hand and then 5 cards from drop and then no cards from here. No, you have to pick 2 from each. If you don't pick 2 from each, they get a drive. So the weird thing is too, it says they have to put 6 specifically, which means if by some miracle they found a way to bypass it and they put an extra card for whatever reason, Amon would still get that extra drive. So that's cool. Gets rid of, like, freaking, you lose a hand card, they lose 2 of them, and they're about to lose a lot more based off of Amon's second skills. They lose their rear guards. Guess what? They're going to lose more next turn when they try to fit them back up. The drop zone, okay, if they're Grand Blue, that causes a problem, but still. Good skill already, because that doesn't involve them being a grade 3. And then continuous Vanguard or rear guard. During your turn, for every 6 cards in your soul, he gets +5. If it's on Van, he gets +10 instead. So, if you're playing this deck normally, at least on first grade 3 turn, this thing will be a 22, while your opponent has lost 6 cards, and this will most likely be a twin drive. I mean, quad drive. You know, the best thing about this card skill is not all the times they will be able to put 6 cards. They will always be able to put 2 cards from hand, most likely, especially because this is during the main phase. Sometimes they might not be able to put rear. Sometimes they might not be able to put drop. But guess what? That only benefits you, because you get drive, and they will always lose hand cards. Just saying. And then continuous Vanguard, for every 6 cards in your opponent's soul, he gets a crit. Best part about this entire card, none of his skills require the opponent to be at grade 3. And that crit goes off the second that they get 6 cards in soul. So they actually put 5 and they already had a 6 card in soul, then he is at triple drive, double critical, most likely has at least +10. So 22, triple drive, double critical, 2 face, while your opponent's at grade 2, and that may not sound that intimidating, or it may, depending on how much you fought Amon or not, but yeah, that will come back to bite you in the ass in the long run, especially because that is the bare minimum that they would be at. Bare minimum, I want to let that be clear. I don't think this card needs any explanation. I honestly think this card is amazing. This should have been the reverse. This should have been the regular. All around, amazing grade 3, 4 of. Not even an argument. And then we have our gifts, 6 Protect 1, 6 Protect 2. I doubt the game will ever go to the point where you get 6 Protect 1s, but whatever. As for Protect 2, the one you're most likely to pick because you want your rear guards to hit dangerous numbers like your Vanguard does, yeah, the game will probably go to the point where you will get 5 or... No, it will not, because you will deck out long before it, but it would be worth it. So anyways, our Protect 1s, when acquired, they go to hand. You can only place it on Guard Circle. It's a Sentinel, and continues Guard Circle. When you place it, discard card from your hand whenever it's copied into battle. Yeah, that's why you kind of run the Crit Sentinels, because you already have a PG. If you want to run the Draw PG, like I said earlier, you can, but once more, Crit Sentinels are probably better. As for the PG over here, just PG and attack. They're not going to be able to hit over you with the amount of cards they're losing. They'll eventually just give up. And then Protect 2, when acquired, it goes on a rear guard. The unit on it gets +5 and gets plus 10k shield when it intercepts. It affects stacks and works during both players' turns. So if you have 1 on a circle, it's +5 and 10k shield when it intercepts. If you have 2 on a circle, plus 10k permanently and 20k shield when it intercepts. So this is on Geenlin. If you have 2 on it, would be a 29k base during both players' turns if your opponent has 6 soul, and his intercept would be 35. Your opponent's not breaking through this unless they sack it over. But if they're playing V and they sack it over, then you can call Judge cheating. So yeah, Protect 2, way to go, because you want to put numbers on your rear guards that are not hitting nearly as much numbers as these 2 units. Weirdly enough, these are both powerhouses. These are the most powerhouse cards I've ever seen in a Protect deck. And then we have Quick Shield, which is when one of you gets attacked for the battle, you get this from the starter. You use this for discard fodder. Here's what you do with this. You do not use it in your opening hand, because once you get it, you do not use it unless you absolutely need that 5k shield. After you get to grade 3 and you're on this Amon, you immediately send it to Soul, or you send it to Soul via Food Gremlin. You do not keep it. That is all it is. Also, just want to bring this back to Atrocious. You don't have to discard first skill. Just want to say that. It's amazing. Still a good card. Anyways, yeah. The quick shield here is for 5k shield / discard fodder / soul fodder for Amon. As for the deck, I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, it's really strong. It's really fun playing. Like, you get extra crits almost guaranteed in this deck. You can beat the crap out of your opponent while they're at grade 2. I say this from experience. My friend mains a lot of deck out decks, and Amon's one of them. And Amon is extremely terrifying. And the amount of hand cards I lose attempting to survive is way too much. I literally cannot outlast him unless I have an actual plan. So don't screw with this one. This one is not to be dealt lightly with either. All around, deck is strong, deck is powerful. Run away from it if you get the chance, and get your holy water out and then spray it on both of these demons and hope that they die from it. So, I'm ending here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you all next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.